I spent 3 hours on my phone yesterday, just waiting for a reason to leave my room. I wasn't even scrolling anything good, just opening the same 4 apps, swiping down to refresh them, closing them, opening them again. I had all my clothes on, I even had my shoes on. I was ready to go anywhere. I just needed someone to tell me where that was. It is a really specific type of quiet. Sitting there in the afternoon, you watch the sun slowly move across your floor. It gets later and later. You realize nobody is going to text you. It feels like everyone else in the world got a copy of the script for the day and you were left out. I do this thing with group chats. Maybe you do it too. We make a vague plan on Thursday to do something on Saturday. Saturday afternoon rolls around. Nobody has said anything yet. I will sit there staring at the chat. I will not send the first text. I refuse to do it. I just wait. I watch to see if anyone else cares enough to remember. And when it gets to 7 o'clock and still nobody has said a word, I just let the night die. I stay in. I get kind of angry about it. But I never actually sent a message myself. Like, I would rather ruin my own weekend than be the one who cares more. It happens when you walk across campus too. I will put my headphones in. I will not even play music sometimes. I just wear them. I take the long way back from my lecture. I walk past the library. I walk past the cafe. I am just wandering around, hoping I bump into someone I know, hoping someone waves at me and pulls me out of my own head. Honestly, I draft texts and then delete them all the time. I will type out a message to a friend from home. Just a regular message about a joke we made last month. Then I read it back. I think about how they might read it. I think maybe it sounds too desperate. Or maybe they are busy with their new friends and do not care. So I delete the whole thing. I just close the phone and go to sleep early. It is this constant silent test I am running on everyone around me. Seeing who will notice I am quiet. Seeing who will reach out first. You know, it is exhausting, but I kept doing it. I realized something last week. I was walking back from a shift at work. It was raining a little bit. I wasn't waiting for a text. I wasn't waiting for a plan. I was waiting to be rescued. I realized I had spent the last 2 years treating my own life like I was a passenger in it. I was just sitting in the passenger seat, staring out the window, waiting for someone else to get in and drive. I thought I was just lonely, but I wasn't. I was avoiding taking responsibility for my own day. If my day was bad, it was because nobody invited me anywhere. If I was bored, it was because my friends were busy. It was never my fault. I had handed over all the control to people who did not even know they had it. I stopped waiting for the group chat to decide my weekend. I started making the plan for myself. I will decide I want to go to the city on Saturday to get a coffee. I will send a text saying I am going to this place at this time. If people want to come, they can. If nobody answers, or if everyone bails, I still go. I go alone. The reason this changes things is because it takes away the veto power. When the goal is just hanging out, anyone can ruin it by not showing up. But when the goal is the coffee, I get the coffee no matter what. I am not failing a social test anymore. I am just running an errand. It feels way less heavy. It is really hard at first. The first time I sat on the train by myself, I felt like everyone knew I had been stood up. But they didn't. They just saw a guy on a train. I also stopped sending bait texts. I used to send these vague messages. I would text someone and say, "Man, today sucks." And then I would just wait. I wanted them to ask what was wrong. I wanted them to pry it out of me. I stopped doing that. If I need help, I just say it. I text them and say, "I am having a garbage day and I need to vent for 10 minutes. The thing is, dropping breadcrumbs just makes you mad when people do not follow them. People are busy. They are dealing with their own classes and their own jobs. If they miss your subtle hint, you end up feeling abandoned. But they didn't abandon you. They just didn't see the clue. Being direct feels risky. If you ask for help and they say no, it hurts. But mostly they don't say no. They just needed to know what you wanted. I started giving myself a timer for feeling bad when I get that sinking feeling. That feeling that nobody likes me and I am completely isolated. I do not try to talk myself out of it. I just set a timer for 10 minutes. I sit on my floor. I let myself feel as pathetic as I want for 10 minutes. This works because it stops the feeling from leaking into the whole day. When you try to ignore it, it just sits in the background. It ruins your mood for hours. When you put a box around it, it gets boring pretty fast. Usually by minute 6, I am just sitting there looking at the wall, waiting for the timer to go off. I started answering my own questions out loud in my room. When I am spiraling, when my brain is telling me that my friend from home is forgetting about me, I just say the fear out loud. I say it to the empty room. I say, he has not texted back because he hates you now. Saying it out loud changes the shape of it. When it is in your head, it feels huge. It feels true. When you say it into the actual air, it sounds stupid. It just sounds like a tired guy making things up. It forces you to hear how ridiculous you are being. I am not very good at this one yet. Sometimes I just mumble it. Sometimes I just let the spiral happen anyway. But it helps when I remember to do it. I started walking with purpose, even if I have nowhere to be. I used to do that slow shuffle. You walk slow because you hope someone catches up to you. Now I walk fast. I look straight ahead. I act like I have somewhere important to be. It changes your physical state. When you walk like you are waiting, you feel small. You feel like an extra in a movie. When you walk fast, your brain thinks you must be doing something important. You trick yourself into feeling capable just by moving your legs faster. I stopped leaving my door cracked open. When I am in my room, the door is shut. If I want to be around people, I go out to the common area. If I want to be alone, I am alone. It stops the passive waiting. I was spending so much energy being half available. I was never really relaxing, and I was never really socializing. I was just hovering in the middle. Shutting the door forces a choice. You are either in or you are out. It is exhausting to live in the maybe. I stopped checking my phone first thing in the morning. I used to wake up and immediately look to see if anyone had texted me while I was asleep. If my screen was empty, my whole morning was ruined before I even got out of bed. Now I plug my phone in across the room. I wake up, I get dressed, I make my bed, and I go wash my face. I do not look at a screen until I am fully awake and moving. The reason this matters is because it sets the baseline for the day. If the first thing you do is check to see if someone else remembered you exist, you are giving away your power before you even brush your teeth. You are letting a piece of glass tell you if you matter today. When you wait 30 minutes, you realize you exist on your own. You do not need a notification to prove it. I started eating meals by myself on purpose. I used to skip eating if nobody could come with me to the dining hall. I would just eat a protein bar in my room because sitting alone at a table felt like failure. Now, I just take a book or my laptop. I go get my food. I sit by the window. This works because it breaks the association between food and social survival. You realize that nobody is watching you. Everyone in that room is worried about their own exams or their own friends. They are not looking at the guy eating a sandwich by himself. It actually feels really calm once you get used to it. You get to eat what you want. You get to leave when you want. You stop holding your breath waiting for someone to sit down. I started talking to people who work at the places I go. Nothing deep. Just saying good morning to the person swiping cards at the gym, or asking the person at the campus store how their shift is going. I always thought small talk was fake. I thought it didn't count if it wasn't a real friend, but it reminds you that you are part of a community. even if it is just a tiny interaction. It grounds you in reality. It stops that feeling that you are a ghost floating through the world. When you look someone in the eye and they acknowledge you are there, it resets your brain a little bit. It reminds you that you occupy physical space. I almost didn't go to the dining hall for dinner yesterday. My roommate was at work. I didn't have anyone to sit with. I sat on my bed for 20 minutes trying to decide if I should just eat cereal again. I put my shoes on. I walked over there. I got my food and I sat at a small table near the back. Nobody looked at me. Nobody cared. I just ate my food and watched the rain hit the window. It was fine. I was fine anyway. If this was useful, subscribe or leave a like. Takes a second, helps more than you think. And tell me what your go-to cheap meal is when you don't want to cook. I read all of them. Good night.